Welcome everyone here to Apex Racing TV. Tonight we're bringing you the Spec Racer Ford Weekend Warrior Series presented by 42 Stitches. I am Avery McDonald. Joined alongside me is Dane Baird, Tom Bingham, and Sammy Kumo in the production booth. We have another stacked field here at Monza with this Weekend Warrior Series. Man, Dane, we saw a stacked field last night. We're going to see another stacked field tonight with some big toes. How you feeling about this race?
Yeah, absolutely. We're here at the Temple of Speed, Monza, of course, and we're skipping the first chicane that you would normally see on the Grand Prix layout. So that's going to make that front straightaway even more enduring for these drivers. I'm almost positive we're going to see some bump drafting. We've already seen some bump drafting in the qualifying sessions just been taking place. And I'm sure that the Curva Grande is going to be very interesting on the first couple of laps for these drivers because it's normally flat, but when you take away that first chicane, it becomes a very tricky corner.
Yeah, it's a real tricky corner. You know, Tom, you said you watched some of our broadcasts earlier from this season with this Weekend Warrior Series. What do you expect from a car that is kind of slow but always puts on a really good show?
Yeah, thanks, Avery. As far as I've noticed with these cars, top speed might be an issue. Bump drafting is going to be absolutely essential down the long straight there, especially without the first chicane in the way. Could be some bump drafting all the way around Curva Grande into what would be chicane number 2.
Yeah, it's, such a little difference not having that first chicane there. But before we get a little bit more into this race, let's take a big thanks to the sponsor of the series, 42 Stitches, for full service custom apparel decoration. Check out 42 Stitches. They specialize in embroidery and heat transfer and can take your idea from sketch to finished product. Everything from shirts to hats to masks and gaiters. Check them out at 42stitches.com and shoot them an email at info@42stitches.com to get your project started. 42 Stitches has you covered, so it's great to have them supporting this really good series. You take a look at Naselli right now, who ran super strong last week. Fastest car so far in qualifying with just under 3 minutes to go. Dane, how important is it going to be for these guys to get a good time in?
I would say fairly important, but probably not too important here because as we saw back all those weeks ago at Daytona, where you've got long straight sections or long flat out sections in Daytona's case, it becomes a lot easier to overtake. We saw overtakes happening pretty much every single lap. And yeah, I think that's going to be a common theme. We're going to see a lot of drivers going side by side, potentially even sort of NASCAR styles. We've got a little bit of a shunt in the background, 3 wide to a Ascari. I've never seen that work before, but interesting to see the drivers battling it out with 2 minutes left of qualifying. We're not even in the race, guys.
Yeah, one thing I've noticed so far is, so in this series they have a Spec 1 and a Spec 2 championship battle. So Spec 1 drivers are drivers 0 to 199, and that's drivers with over 3,000 I rating. And then the S2 class is drivers with under 3,000 I rating, signified with over 200. And the leader of that championship is Antonio Reyes, and he's sitting 4th in qualifying so far. So a really good run for him. But a lot of the heavy hitters haven't put down time yet. So Tom, we talked about it in the last couple of broadcasts with Dane. How cool is it that these drivers can race for a different, championship for their own skill level?
Yeah, skill level for this one is going to be wild. With this many guys on the grid, if you get any kind of accident into that first chicane, it could be anybody's race. Watching in the last race, there was some ridiculously good battling with Arabian coming in first and Naselli closely in second, but that massive contact coming down the hill, Rode Atlanta there before the final straight. It's anyone's game.
Yeah, you're right. It is anyone's game. You just see some of the heavy hitters up front, like the Austin Winners. Naselli had a great run. Actually, the points leader for the S1 class is doing very well. If we take a look at there's that 33 of Austin Winner, kind of slow so far in the qualifying sessions. We got about 30 seconds to go, so he's going to just try to get a good lap in. It's very hard to get a good clean lap in. We have so many drivers here at Monza. But this is such a great series. So many good cars that show up here. But the one thing that Dane and I always go with is there's a limit on fuel. 28 minutes is about what the average pit stop on fuel. And Dane, we saw a couple instances last week where a couple different pit road strategies. Is that going to be the same thing where we have a couple different strategies on pit road?
Well, I hope so. It'll certainly make things a bit more interesting. And yeah, we've seen over the last few rounds, we've seen a lot of different pit strategies. Some people diving in as soon as possible to try and get their pit stop over and done with and get into some clear air. I doubt you're going to be wanting to get into too much clear air here at Monza because, of course, drafting is going to play in a huge role in this race. Interesting to note in qualifying, you've said that a couple of the drivers, Gorka is actually on provisional pole position by 4 thousandths of a second. Gorka's right there in the 41 Volcano car, but yeah, bump drafting is not the way to go in qualifying because that little 0x that you'll pick up that just signifies very light car contact will invalidate your lap time. So regular drafting, getting in behind another car is fine, but getting pushed along will get the time invalidated, which might be one of the reasons why we've seen some drivers maybe not setting the times that we would expect them to.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, we have 3 drivers that pretty much just took over the podium. That's Gorka Itaret, who's second in the point standings, with Rodrigo Duran and Rafael Berbergal. 3 really talented drivers and already a talented field. Take a look at on board of Berbergal that just staying in that tow. Final run to the finish. We'll see if he's gonna be able to get a little bit quicker here. Not quite. Gives Rodrigo a little bump, but that's going to pretty much end qualifying as we have a couple drivers are on the final lap, but the timer will run completely out just momentarily. Yeah, that's just a long straight. I just see some really good passes coming up here. So qualifying just getting close to finish. This is Apex Racing TV featuring the Spec Racer Ford Weekend Warrior Series presented by 42 Stitches. We've got another stacked field, not just of skill levels, a stacked field of 49 drivers, and that's just Dane. We've been seeing really big fields lately. This could turn into just a fantastic race.
Absolutely, it's almost going to look like a NASCAR grid as they take that pace lap around Monza, coming around the final corner of Parabolica. It's going to be interesting. Down the main straight, what I noticed a few minutes ago, I remember watching one of the drivers with the speedometer on. I could see they were pretty much maxed out without draft at about 125 miles per hour, and they reached that speed before the first chicane where it would be, and they carry that speed all the way through Curva Grande in towards the second chicane, which is actually going to be turn 2 here with the current layout that we're using. But it's interesting because they max out very early along the straight, so bump drafting really is going to be important there.
I'm
Looks like
interested to see. Sorry, Avery.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm interested to see if the cars will actually be able to hit the maximum top speed that's rated of 135 with a bump, with a draft, enough to actually attack into that first chicane. I know that Dane was saying the speeder was maxed out. I'm just wondering if they will actually be able to push it to that absolute maximum in order to gain some places and do well in this race.
Yeah, it's a good opportunity for the pass. Qualifying has just finally been completed here at Monza for the Spec Racer Ford Weekend Warrior Series. Let's go take a look at your starting lineup. Starting on the pole, we have Gorka Itaret, and then Rodrigo Duran second, Rafael Berbergal third, Naselli, Steven Ellison, Andreas Battoni, Austin Winter, Antonio Reyes, Daniel Sadro, Mitch Weatherly, and then that rounds out the top 10. David Bohm, Francisco Bernardo in 12th down to 13th. Larry McLeod, Forns Arabian, who's been running really strong. Then we have Emil Orza, Tim Van, Chris Berkami, Ed Doherty. Then you got Miro in 19th, Bob Kern in 20th, Jim McGill, Jeff Fritcher, Dominique Barreau, Maxine Dotamerson. And then 25th, Yuri Cox, Brian Short, Richard Franco, Jeff Jacobson, Paulo Breme, Jos Simpkins, Brett Nordstrom, Paul Jackson, Ian Haycox, Ken Bately, Adam Bradshaw in 35th, and Matthew Filipowicz in 36th. Down to 37th is Tom Gradwell, Ian Gibson, Jason Brown, Mark Ehan, Darren Kern, Gary Wobolt, Ian Wilson, Gabriel Messina. Then we got Mats and Alessandro, Felipe, Samuel Dick. I said his name right, Dane. He's in 48th. So then 49th, we have Arthur Grant. So a 49 car field. It is a stacked field, not only in skill level, but in driver count. Rolling starts are here for the Spec Racer Ford Weekend Warrior Series. Dane, how important is this start going to be?
I'd say it's going to be pretty important. They're all going to reach their top speed by the time they've reached the first corner, which is going to be flat out for them. Running side by side through there might get a little bit sketchy. The lights have come on our SDK Gaming graphics, which means that everyone is on the grid and the pace car's about to pull away. There it goes. The field will be led by Gorka Itaret in the 41 car, who is currently on the left-hand side of our screen, not the number 10 car of Duran, who's just decided, yeah, I'm going to go anyway.
Yeah, Duran, Itaret, Berbergal, pretty much always in the top 3. But a big shout out to Antonio Reyes, the S2 championship leader, qualifying in 8th place. So it's just a super impressive run for him, moving up the. I'm sure we'll see his iRating over 3,000 anytime soon. He'll be moving up to the S1 class, I'm sure, next season. Drivers just kind of starting to get ready to take some deep breaths, sitting behind the safety car. It's a 40-minute race. Remember, 28 minutes of fuel is about the average fuel consumption, so that pit window will open up relatively soon. So if you get into an accident where you need to use that tow, you hope it's where it's in the fuel window. Very tight little group here. Such a fun group with 49 cars here. The safety car just working its way around the track. But it's great to have Dane and Tom here in the booth and Samuli running the cams, because for this 40-minute race, the safety car is off. The drivers are starting to get a little jump. That was Ellison trying to get the closest jump, but green flag is out. Itaret's going to get the jump on Duran, and the Selly, Berbergal winner, and Bertoni, and Antonio Reyes getting a big jump. What a foggy race we have here today. Man, these cars are so slow at the start, but they're getting up to their top speed. It's 3 wide. You got Duran, Naselli, Berbergal, Itaret. Winner moves up from 7th all the way up to 4th. Winner's all the way to 3rd. No chicane here. We'll see if they can make a move here. Duran's going to lead. Now it's the winner on the outside. Finally, they hit the first chicane, Dane.
Yeah, it did take quite a while. Winner did an absolutely amazing start. They were 4 wide on the 2nd or 3rd rows. They got the green flag. Oh, that is the pole position, man. This is red all over the grass there. Got a little bit forced wide. Just a tad on the inside there as they go through the Lesmos for the first time. These cars look incredibly slow at some of these circuits. There's Austin Winner. Great start for him. He's lost all of the positions he's gained, unfortunately, for him. But Duran has a bit of a gap now between himself and Bertoni. It's around about a second. We know that the Bertoni will still be in drafting range as of now, but he will not be getting the full amount of draft he could have got, and Duran might try and start to close up or make a bit of a gap. Here is Winner going side by side to Ascari as they come through onto the final straight, and there's contact. Number 1 car of Naselli is off.
Yeah, Naselli goes off. That looks like it was Bernardo that made a little contact. Naselli is able to get back onto the racetrack relatively clean. Falls back all the way down to now 27th, down to 28th, and maybe sticks in 28th, but he's able to recoup, and he's gonna have to make a big charge in this here at the Spec Racing 4 Weekend Warriors Series. It was Emil Orza. Like you said earlier, Tom, we are onto this long straightaway, and we'll see how it's going to work out. What do you think of this long straight with these little cars, Tom?
Yeah, well, they're certainly pushing hard. I was just thinking how Naselli was very lucky there. There's not much runoff around this track. He got very, very lucky that he didn't end up in a wall or worse. It's one thing about here, there's nowhere to go if you do hit any of that grass, and things get a bit squirrely.
Yeah, he was able to maintain that. We're taking a look at onboard Ed Doherty right now, just giving a good little bump, sitting in the 12th position. That's up 6 spots for Ed so far. Remember, the driver with the biggest mover of the race does get some bonus points in the series, so he's sitting at +6, which is pretty much right on par with the most. Kind of got the unpreferred line, a little bit of a bump that's going to go by. Ooh! Contact was made. Looks like it might have been with the 122 of Bohm a little bit. Oh, and the driver's just parked out on the track. That's the number 2. Oh, you hate to see it, Dane.
All sorts of carnage kicking off there. There was a one incident which became a couple of more when some drivers lost it on the grass trying to rejoin the circuit. One of them, that is Ferenz Arabian, just sliding across the circuit. Nothing anyone else could have done about that. There goes Bertoni up into the lead in that 71 car. He's managed to close down that gap to head through Ascari for the second time. Just under 4 minutes gone already in this race. Lap times are fairly long here, around about 2 minutes and 2 minutes 15 seconds we're expecting. A little bit of bump drafting now, because Duran knows if he makes a move into the Parabolica, he'll just get passed straight away. He wants to try and fend off from the Spec 2 net leader at this point. Ray's in third. He was doing an absolutely splendid job there.
Yeah, they got about a second and a half gap between second and third, so they just need to work together to try to pull away from Rays, because then it's just going to stay a two-car battle, because Rays has no help from Berbagal behind him, and then Berbagal's got a little help from Itoret. So yeah, Tony's going to lead lap number 2 here as they go into lap number 3 of this 40-minute race. But like you said, times are long, about 2 minutes and 5 seconds, which is a very long time for these cars, considering last week we're around the minute range. But here at Monza, we're on this long straightaway, turns into a nice little curve. So these drivers are at the top speed, as you see on the bottom right of your screen. And these cars, 124 mile an hour is super quick. For Tony able to get a little bit better run into Duran, just because Duran really didn't want to get right into him. Just take a look at the bottom right of your screen, take a look at the I rating of these drivers and the safety rating, a 5.4K for Rafael Berbagal. But yeah, such a strong field. Those drivers in this top 7, their I ratings are no slouches. Remember, Antonio Reyes is your Spec 2 driver. He'll be moving up to the Spec 1 next season, as he's over 3,000 I rating now. But Antonio's been running super strong. We caught up with him last week, and he's just really happy to be here. But you know, Tom, these drivers are starting to work together to pull away from third. I mean, that's the right move. But do you think that second pack's gonna be able to catch up to him?
To be honest, I'm not sure. They've pulled out quite a bit of a lead. It's going to be interesting to see if Ray's lap time is substantially hampered without having that draft down the long straight. Bertoni getting a bit of a gap away now from Duran. The back pack are making a bit of a move, but separating off now into one front pack, second in the back, and another pack following up just behind.
Yeah, that second pack's working, you know, really well together. As you see, Ray's kind of maybe making way a little bit for those drivers to make a run, but they're going to go side by side with the 23 of Berbagal. Berbagal able to clear them, going onto the long straightaway. Those drivers are going to need to work together to catch up to that lead pack. But like you said earlier, Dane, it doesn't really matter where you start as long as you can make some moves, because some drivers are already up 18 spots.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of the drivers really pushing hard. That is the Frenchman in the 59 car down in 29th position. There's Philippe Chauvin in 29th. Yeah, he's gained 18 positions. He's done very well for himself. Indeed, in the first couple of laps. A little bit of bump drafting through the corners. Very much looking like reverse NASCAR here. Oh dear! That is into the Cover Grande. Cars flying, almost hitting the advertising boards there. What has happened in the lower end of the top 20? Still the number 20 car is flipping. What on earth has happened there?
Yeah, you got Murakami, Yuri Cox, Fritzer, Emil. Once we cut to it, was just, everybody was flying. I mean, take liftoff. These cars were, wow, it was such an insane crash that none like we've seen here before during the race. I mean, we always see one after the race when it's the demolition, but just a rough race. Oh yeah, 142, the 205, the 01, the 43. Man, I mean, thankfully they got quick repairs, and as you see the 20 car there, Tim Van Dorleman just flying like this, like nothing else happening. But you know, there is one quick repair here. Take a look at Emil Orza, got a little bit of right rear damage, but dang, that was a big one. Like you said, the NASCAR style racing.
Yeah, just as I mentioned, NASCAR racing, we see a massive NASCAR super speedway style crash. I almost thought that was down the main straight because it looks very similar. The driver's cutting over the painted tarmac on the outside of what would be the chicane. But it's not. This is the battle for 6th, and Austin Winner wants that position. And now Steven Elson going to get absolutely mugged down the main straight. He has no draft at all. Maybe a little bit of a side draft. But Weatherly wants to get involved as well in the number 4 car. Let's not see a repeat of what we saw just a few moments ago. There is a bit of a bump right here as they transition onto the runoff area there, which the drivers will use, almost pushing 3 wide. But there is a bit of a bump, and they were going 3 wide in that big incident we saw just a few moments ago, and that's what caused that all to spark off. You can see someone getting on the brakes already. He doesn't want to be going side by side into these corners. There's a very tricky place to go side by side in the second chicane.
Oh yeah, you gotta be super cautious where you gotta go. But Tom, first race with us, and you saw the big one. What do you think?
Impressive. Even though the spec races can't go that fast, they can fly. It's exciting stuff to watch.
Yeah, and that was super exciting. But what's real exciting right now is the battle with Weatherly, Winner, Elson, and then you have McLeod right behind him. Elson trying to make a move on Winner, but Winner's got to give Weatherly a handful, trying to bump draft and maintain that position. Winner looking to the preferred line going into the corner. We'll see if Winner's able to make a move. Nope, gonna go stay in line with the 4-car train with Bernardo right behind him, about a second behind the pack. Weatherly still in the tow of Elson. Take a look at Winner right behind him. He usually runs super strong. We're sitting in the top 8 right now. He's had some bad luck in, well, almost every week. So we'll see if his luck's going to turn around here and get a good solid finish. But a nice 4-way battle for the 6th position. But McLeod, running super strong, the 133. Dane, this is kind of what we see almost every week. You have these small little groups of drivers that are just racing super hard, and that's the one thing I really like about this series.
Absolutely, and just looking at your Spec 2 leader of race, he is getting a huge draft from the driver ahead of him, which is Gorka, and he just at the fastest lap of the race. So despite being in the secondary class, look at the overspeed McLeod's got here. Is he going to try and push it 3 wide? He looks to it. We're going to go inside the gearbox of Austin Winner, riding on board with Larry McLeod in the number 133 car. He's now going to look to the inside, which will become outside for the chicane. He thinks the better of it, and they all break under the bridge. They go in towards the second chicane, taking a lot of curve in these cars. He doesn't get unsettled too easily. This spec racer forward I don't think it carries enough speed to get too loose through there. But these drivers battling out hard, and Winner leading this pack. Oh, this is a massive cluster of cars. Oh, and there's contact.
Yeah, you got Kern, Naselli. That looks to be the 94 of Ed Doherty.
Contact.
Oh, wow. You hate to see it. That's my line, but 258 of Ian Wilson. So you had Wilson, Ford, Wilson, Doherty, Orza, and then you had Bob Kern also involved in that. But the race still goes on. A lot of these cars are destroyed here. But about 5 minutes ago, they're going to get into the fuel window so they can get in there, use that quick repair if they can make it around the track a couple more times. But man, that's what happens when you get this big, drafted big straightaways, lots of tow, and the carnage can happen. But the battle still heats on. This is such a great race. We have it every week at the same time here at Apex Racing TV. So if you like what you see, we're only 12.5 minutes, just a little over 12.5 minutes into this race, and yeah, come back next week for some more action. But right now, the action on the racetrack is, take a look at Daniel Sadro running really strong. A couple drivers making their way down pit road. As you see on the bottom of the screen, you have Steven Elson coming down, Bernardo McGill. So those drivers that were involved in the incident are coming down and getting that quick repair. But it's a little early for the fuel, so they're going to have to come back in one more time.
Incident points could also play a bit of a key in this race. If there's so many collisions, we're going to look to some drivers getting some time penalties.
Yeah, if you give 12 incidents, you get a drive-through penalty. 20 incidents, it's a disqualification. But the one thing to keep in mind is we have the Safe Driver Award for drivers that get no incidents and finish no more than 1 lap down. They get 5 bonus points. So there's going to be a couple drivers that are still in the running for that. And so we're going to see if they can maintain a clean car and a clean race to get those bonus points. Take a look at with Maxime, that battle for 11th. You got Miro leading that. Ian Haycox, who's been running always super strong. But what a good battle here we have. Take a look at a replay of what happened here on the straightaway with Felipe. Oh.
Ooh. Ooh. Wow.
You got kind of lucky there, not able to completely junk the car. So go look at Jason Brown here. Oh, the Felipe. Oh, the 377 kind of goes over a little bit. The 377 is Yo Simpkins. Wow, just probably didn't know he was there. Sometimes it happens when you get in these long straightaways in that drafting battle. So the race goes on. Just under 15 minutes into this 40-minute race. Felipe, Maxime, and Yost just battling super strong. Ken Bailey, who's been running really strong the last couple weeks. Man, Dane, this is exciting. It's always exciting with these cars.
Yeah, this is some seriously good racing that we're seeing here, and Felipe really just getting sideswiped a little bit. He actually did get a tiny bit of a touch to the wall, and that is, he's giving him a little bit of damage. Because seeing a lot of cars heading down into the pits. There is the number 01 and the number 59. He's going to repair some damage. Both cars going to repair some damage. I don't think I see a car on track that is actually looking brand new. There's one of the cars in the pit lane there, missing most of its bodywork entirely. Here is the battle for the lead then, and that second pack has well and truly caught up. Look at that, all 4 cars in the top 4 separated by just under a second.
Yeah, Bertoni's car looks a little clean, but that's a 4-way battle for first. Antonio Reyes just put on a stellar run, and he wants to steal a win from the Spec 1 class and get the overall win. He's sitting in 4th position, and a great opportunity for him to try and make that happen. But right now it's Bertoni, Duran, Berbegal, and Reyes. A couple more minutes into the pit window. First time with us, Tom. I think drivers are going to short pit or try to pit a little bit towards the middle.
It's going to be a bit mixed, to be honest, with the amount of damage that's been incurred so far. Bertoni's trying his absolute hardest to defend the Volcano team. He's got 2 cars right behind him, and he's going to be in trouble if he's not careful.
Yeah, you want to get a clean entrance into pit road here. That's what Hugh told us a couple weeks ago at Daytona. That it's really important to get the super quick entrance in the pit road, so you have a clean pitch. Take a look at Durant, Berbegal making the way down pit road. Torette's already in pit road. So the Volcano cars are going to work together. We'll see what they get. Remember, no pit road speed limiter. There's Austin Winter, moves into 3rd. You might see them come in the pit road, maybe shortly. You never know. The drivers have a different strategy. But yeah, Dane, what do you think of a couple drivers going in early?
Yeah, I guess we expected it. They didn't have damage to try and repair. As there go 2 of the Volcano cars. The 41 of Gorka is going to join them shortly, almost still inside each other as they exited the pit lane. They have a ghosting system in the pit lane iRacing, but if you leave the pits while you're still ghosted through each other, you stay ghosted through each other, and that was looked to be what happened there. But these drivers are getting absolutely mugged down the straight now, because all the other drivers are already up to the maximum speed, cruising past, and I think Gorka is just about to get swamped by a couple cars behind him.
Yep, they're gonna have to work together to maintain a good pace and try to stay in front of some of these cars. That's the one thing when you pit early. You never know what traffic you're gonna get into, because the clean air when you're that lead car with 2 really fast cars behind you, it really helps out as you see a driver off track coming in at the coming off the screen. That was Paul Jackson, the 249. So almost collected those drivers in that little incident for pitting early. Almost halfway through here at Monza for the Spec Racer 4 Weekend Warrior Series presented by 42 Stitches here on Apex Racing TV. You're taking a look at Burbagal, and then there's Duran and Itoret right behind them. Those drivers were in the top 5, excuse me, going into pit road. So once other drivers make their way through pit road, we'll see where they end up. But right now, it is Duran who's leading the drivers who have made their way into pit road that are good to make it to the end of the race. So Dane, we saw a little bit difference than a little difference than every other week. They pit right when the pit window opened.
Yeah, absolutely. And I said it last week at Atlanta, but I think it applies especially here at Monza, that fuel was probably going to get used more here than on any other circuit. There are only a couple of decently hard braking zones, and it would be because you skip the first couple of corners that you would normally drive through. This corner's completely flat. You see the drivers getting a little bit loose, just trying to keep it going straight, but fully flat out through this corner. A little bit of a lift. You can see that actually Larry, it seems like he was doing a little bit of fuel saving through the braking zone there. So maybe trying to save time on his pit stop that he'll have to make later on in the race. So interesting to see all the different drivers having very different strategies.
Yeah, that is, I was practicing here a little bit earlier today, practicing my pit road entrance. Thinking I might do an official race, and I decided I'm not because I'm too slow. But yeah, the drivers, when they're trying to make their way through pit road, was, you just got to send it. Just like what Austin Winter's going to try to do here on Weatherly to get into the final podium position that's currently on the track with a nice little clean move by Winter, himself in the 3rd. Still needs to make their way down pit road though, but you see Winter, Weatherly, and McLeod, the battle for 3rd there. What do you think of this series so far, Tom?
Yeah, the series is awesome. I watched a few of the races the other night, and I've been very impressed. Even though these cars don't have a lot of power, mid-engine layout, very, very twitchy to drive, they're actually really good fun. I ran some practice laps around here myself, just to get a bit of a feel for things, and they're actually awesome. Really, really exciting to drive.
Yeah, you see Antonio Reyes putting on a good push on it for Bertoni, trying to make as much of a gap as they can from the drivers behind them, because they're going to have to make their way down pit road in just a couple laps with the average lap time about 2 minutes and 5 seconds. Just a couple more laps and they'll be making their way down pit road filled up with fuel. No tires are taken here with these cars. No need to take those, so just fuel, just gas and go. But you see Bertoni putting on a really good run, up 5 spots. A couple of drivers that are making big moves. Ian Haycox, who's certainly that's in 7th at the moment, up 26 spots. Dang, that guy's trying to get that biggest mover of the race.
Yeah, absolutely. But further down the field, Philippe Sherman up 30, and Alessandra Ida just up in the Italian, up 32. So as everyone's taking their pit stops, you can't really judge it too well at the moment, but lots of really hard charges in this race so far.
Yeah, and the hard charger award goes to drivers who have put down a qualifying time. So a couple drivers have not put down a qualifying time, so they will not be eligible for that. But take a look at the battle with Dominique Barreau, running really strong, sitting in 15th place. You got Jim McGill and Miro. Miro's got the preferred entrance in here. We'll see if he's going to be able to maintain a run and keep open the gap up a little bit, excuse me, but not quite. See McGill right in front of him, giving him a little tow. But yeah, Tom, like you said it earlier today. Oh, see the 205 of Miro go a little off track. But Tom, you said, kind of wondering how these drivers are going to make a pass when they're already at top speed, and they're just kind of a little cat and mouse game.
Yeah, it seems like they've got a little extra a little extra past the red line on the speedo there. I'm really impressed by the sheer effect of the draft on these cars. It's much higher than your GT3s or anything like that I've experienced. The draft really is playing key.
Yeah, the draft makes a big difference with these cars because they're not really that fast, but once you get them in the toe, they just go so much quicker. Take a look at still here, Dominic Barreau, sitting in that 17th position, got a nice little 3-car train. We'll see if they can work together to catch up to Jim McGill. A couple of drivers are making their way down pit road as the pit road cycle is about to, or what you'll be able to make on pit road is about to end. You got about 4 more minutes, so just a couple laps. Right, so you have to be very cautious. You want to take enough fuel to be able to finish, because we saw it on the first week that a couple drivers lost their spots because of not taking enough fuel. So sometimes you have to take a couple extra gallons just to make sure you can make it.
Yeah, we've all been there. We've all tried to push the envelope a little bit on fuel, and anybody that races or certainly race on iRacing has experienced the chugging sensation of an empty tank.
Yeah, it's nothing like it when you think you're gonna make it, and then it's one more lap, and you're like, oh crap. So yeah, you want to make sure you got enough fuel when they come down pit road. You expect a lot of drivers to come down as they finish this lap, because they can maybe go one more lap on fuel. Remember, they have a limit on the fuel, so it requires it's about 40% fuel, so it's good for about 28 minutes on average. So you take a look at the leader for Tony and Ray's behind them, still yet the pit. We're gonna see if they make their way down pit road this time by. It looks like they're going to. Bertoni comes in, Race comes in hard on the brake. Remember, no pit road speed limiter, so they need to get down to the pit road speed and maintain it as close as they can.
It almost looked like Race was double guessing himself there, or thinking about maybe trying to push it.
Yeah, it absolutely looked like he was trying to either double guess himself or push it. We'll see where they come out. You have Winter McLeod and Weatherly behind them coming down. Expect Ian Haycox to make his way down pit road too, but that's still a pretty big gap. The virtual pit crew coming in, filling up the fuel. Reyes is down and away. Same with Bertoni. We're going to see where they come out with Berbigal, Itoret, and Duran. You see a little bit of a gap there. It's about a second gap between about 4-second gap between Bertoni and Berbigal. But one thing is they're up to speed, and Bertoni and Reyes aren't quite up to speed yet. But that is your S2 class leader and points leader, Antonio Reyes, out in front. Just putting on a stellar performance here. Second place in the S2 class goes to Miro, and then currently Paul Jackson's in third in that class. He is in pit road. And it looks, yeah, Bob Kern's going to take over third. But look at that battle. We have 5 cars within 3 seconds of each other. The first 2 are Reyes and Bertoni. Then it's the Volcano cars of Berbergal, Itoret, and Duran. And those Volcano cars are coming.
Yeah, you were saying there's a bit of a gap between Bertoni and Berbigal. I'll tell you where there's no gap between these Volcano cars. They are seriously working that draft. It actually looks pretty cool to see all the 3 drivers in their matching paint schemes heading down, barely almost touching each other. They actually were touching each other down the main straight. I was a bit worried for Reyes and Bertoni. They had a massive Volcano train just behind them. They managed to fend them off. They managed to actually gain quite a considerable amount of time in the pit cycle, and Reyes actually overtook Bertoni in the pit lane. Oh, what have we got here? That is Mitch Weatherly in the number 4 car. He has gone off at a very hard angle to the left out of the second Lesmo, and that car is wrecked. I really want to know what happened to him, because he has gone off a very large angle indeed.
Yeah, we're taking a look at Weatherly here. In the toe. He gets a little, Yeah, just caught the tires. A little dangerous combination there. But as I always say, the race goes on. And the race right now is the battle for the lead. It's got Bertoni, Reyes, and then the Burbergal, Itoret, and Duran. Man, Tom, these Volcano cars are super strong.
Yeah, they're connected like the old school scale electric cars. They're going to need to bump draft the absolute hell out of it to catch up to these front runners. The gap has come down considerably now. We're not looking at too much distance for them to actually get back into the fight.
Yeah, they're closing in on the gap. It was 2.5 seconds about a lap ago. 29 minutes down here of the 40-minute race. Let's take a look on the timing and scoring. Yeah, you take a look at the timing and scoring, you see a 0.3 of a second gap between first and second, and a 1.5 seconds between first and third. That is just a good opportunity to make such a great 5-way battle. I know if I was fortunate enough to be one of those lead 2 drivers, and if I had my mirrors turned on, I'd be kind of scared when I see 3 Volcano cars behind them, because I know those cars are behind me. They are coming. The gap's down to 1.2, and it is closing just a little bit at a time until they get into that complete tow last lap. Well, we'll see what they run this time by. We'll see what they run this time by, because the last lap for Reyes and Bertoni was coming out pit road. Sometimes you forget how long this track is with these cars. Come around the final turn. Burbergal goes wide, not what you want to see if you're one of those 3 drivers. So Burbergal goes wide. That's going to give Itoret the position. We'll see what they're going to end up doing here. Crossing the start-finish line, 2:06, 2.2, and 2:05.6. So about a half second quicker was the 3 drivers for the Volcano crew, which is now led by Gorka Itoret. And you have Rodrigo Duran and Rafael Burbergal. But yeah, such a tight battle here, Dane. We always see these Volcano cars quick. It's usually they're leading the field, but now they're on the hunt.
Yeah, absolutely. Working together, getting all of that draft. It is a real sight seeing the 3 cars. They almost look like one as they come into the braking zones and they drive past, and it's 3 cars in very quick succession. Got to really trust your teammates to do driving like that. Bertoni did get ahead of Race in the last lap. Race is still in with a chance though. 9 minutes left of the race. Around about, I would say, 4 more laps next time by. Come through the second Lesmo then on lap number 15. Coming up to a little bit of lap traffic. That might play into things just a little bit and allow the Volcano cars to catch up a tiny bit more.
Yeah, I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in here to Apex Racing TV on this wonderful, wonderful evening for the Spec Racer Ford Weekend Warrior Series. Like I said earlier, if you like what you see, come back again next week. Bertoni got a lap traffic with Gibson. Is he going to be able to get around him? But yeah, if you like what you see, come back next week, same time, same place. Get that notification bell rang so you get the notification. But Reyes and Bertoni, they're catching lap traffic, and this is a good chance for them to try to make a little more of a gap if the Volcano cars behind them get slowed up. Bertoni leading Reyes. Reyes trying to steal the overall win. Your S2 class leader, your S2 championship leader is Antonio Reyes, and just putting on a whale of an effort here.
Yeah, absolutely. The 2 drivers were right on each other's bumpers as they crossed the start-finish line to start the lap, and you can see right there on each other's bumpers to finish the lap as well. They've lost a considerable amount of time to the Volcano cars, who almost went side by side through Curva Grande. They have Matt Sjöblom in 40th position, move out of the way for them. And look at that, the gap is non-existent now. They're right onto the back of this train. It's a 5-car battle for the lead.
5-car battle for the lead. It's Bertoni, Reyes, Itoret, Duran, and Burbergal. Running down a couple quick little right-handers and a good little straightaway. Tom, if you're in the seat of Itoret right now, when are you going to try to make a move?
It's a tough one to call. There aren't too many places to actually pass on this track, really. too well other than the straights themselves. But what do? Do you send it down on the main chicane? Do you try and draft it, and hopefully your other Volcano teammates can assist and do a bit of blocking? It's going to be really tricky to know when to pull the trigger.
Yeah, you kind of need to find the right opportunity. But if you take a look at the track map on the top right of your screen, lap cars are coming. You got a couple lap cars in the way. You got Richard Franco, Yuri Cox, who's usually has much better luck and runs in the top part of the field. So unfortunate for him. So yeah, they are starting to catch up lap traffic, and they have to work their way around. And sometimes that's the right time to make a move. But man, Dane, I'll tell you what, this is what we always love to see in this series. It's usually a 5-way battle for the lead. As you see Rays maybe trying to defend a little bit. But when are you gonna make? When would you try to make a move here in that right position?
If I was in second, I would stay in second as long as possible. Really, I would try and leave it until the last possible moment, because I would know as they go 3 wide for the lead, Gorka down the middle, the 3 Volcano cars pushing each other. Are they going to take both drivers behind? Yes, they are. The 3 Volcano cars go from 3rd, 4th, and 5th. The 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. That Volcano train working wonders for them. I wonder if team orders are going to come into effect here, or if they're just going to be able to race each other. It's going to be interesting to see, but we're still 5-car battle for the lead. Bertoni just got absolutely swarmed by those Volcano cars, but they now have a lot of lap traffic up ahead of them. A couple of times getting well out of the way.
Yeah, a couple of lap cars are making the way, getting out of the way. You take a look at Bertoni on board with him, who was just in the lead, and now he's in 4th when the Volcano cars worked their way between him and Rays in the middle of the racetrack and made a stellar move. We'll see if Bertoni's going to be able to make a move into the final podium position, but right now it's Volcano 1, 2, 3, and then Bertoni and Rays, and a big gap between the rest of the field. But that nice little train, 35 minutes, 45 seconds down here at the 40-minute race, so just a couple laps to go. We'll see if Itoret's going to maintain the lead, or if Duran or Berbergal says, no, I want that win, or if they're going to stay in line. Just a couple laps to go. Like I said, we'll see what happens. Got Yuri Cox, who's the only driver really within striking distance of becoming another lap down. And then Murakami up there with 18 seconds back, so it might not quite get to him. But this train is a 5-car train, and the battle is heating up. The fire is burning. We got some blue flames, so it's getting hot in this racetrack here at Monza for the Spec Racer Ford Weekend Warrior Series, presented by 42 Stitches. Here on Apex Racing TV, you got Bertoni going to try to make a move. He was hoping Rays was going to give him a little help. Bertoni's going to use the tow from Yuri Cox. We'll see if it's going to close up to where he's going to have to get behind Rays or whatnot. But Cox is still giving Bertoni a little bit of a tow. Back to a 5-car train as Bertoni kind of like, hey, I got to get back in line, otherwise I'm going to go back. 5-car train led by Itoret, then Duran, Berbergal, Bertoni, and Rays. Clean through corner number 1. They got a chicane coming up. We'll see what happens. Stays in line. Berbergal kind of slips up a little bit. That allows Bertoni to get a little bit of run, but was kind of shortened up by him. Itoret still maintains the pack. All right, Tom, it's 37.5 minutes down. It's time to go. Are we going to see some more aggression?
I'm kind of liking Bertoni's chances. I'm thinking if he can pull off some magic here against the 3 Volcano cars, he could get an exceptional run and maybe clinch that victory. Fingers crossed for him.
Take a look at the battle with Ian Haycox, Barreau, and Miro for this 3-way battle. Currently for the 11th position. These drivers have been battling all day. What a great run for Miro, sitting second in the S2 standings, and Bob Kern in the S2 sitting in 3rd. Longtime member here in iRacing. 38 minutes down. Couple more to go. Most likely gonna take the white flag this time by, if I'm not mistaken. I believe white flag for Itoret currently, but that lead could change. Because it goes Itoret, Duran, Berbergal, Bertoni, and Rays. Coming out of the final corner, I believe they're going to take the white flag here. One thing with the time braces, it's not always 100% certain. But, man, what a train we got here, Dane. Look at Bertoni go.
Yeah, I think he might lose out just a little bit. He's got some overspeed, but all the drivers, yep, you can see he went a bit faster. But I think he's going a tiny bit backwards. What they really need for himself and Rays, they need to split up the volcano cars, because with them working together in that train, the two other drivers have no chance, really. Oh, there we go, the block from the number 10. A massive block from the number 10 car. The volcano car's going side by side in towards the second chicane. What's going to happen here? That is a volcano roadblock, that is. Oh, and look at that, Bertoni around the outside. Berbergal, a little bit of contact between Berbergal and Rays. Rays trying to get past as well.
What a move by Bertoni. What a move. Good driving.
Oh, yeah, what a move by Bertoni.
What happened to Gorka? Gorka's lost it on his own. We didn't even see that. He's lost it in the second chicane all by himself. From the lead of the race, what happened here? Does he get contact? No, it's all by himself. He just hits the curb too hard onto the gravel and he lost it completely on his own. We missed it. I was wondering why there are only two volcano cars, and I saw him just dropping down the timing order.
Yeah, back to the battle for the lead. It's Duran, Berbergal, Bertoni, and Rays. Like you said, they needed to split the volcano cars, and they kind of did, but the volcano cars are back together, but just Duran and Berbergal. So you got Duran, Berbergal, Bertoni, Rays. Rays is already your S2 class leader right now. He really needs to help out Bertoni if they want to maintain a little bit of a side, little side draft, little side blockage from the 23. Going into the final corner, Bertoni is going to have the lead, but
oh, look at Race.
Duran's got the lead. Ray's going to give a big bump to Duran. Checkered flag's going to come out here at the Spec Racer Ford Weekend Warriors Series. It's going to be a drag race. It's going to be a drag race. They touch. Duran gets the win, and it's Berbergal, then Rays and Bertoni. Followed by Itoret, who recovers for a 5th position. Followed by Bohm, Winner, McLeod, and Bernardo in the top 10. They're working their way to the finish line. We could say something about Duran, Berbergal, who are in the top 2, but how about that S2 championship leader and Rays finishing 3rd? Take a look at Bob Kern, Emil, and Philippe. Kern trying to get the run out of the corner. Kind of has the wrong side, but we're going to see a drag race for this position. Take a look at the 99 of Emil. And at the line, what a battle. Man, this series never disappoints. Rodrigo Duran, I believe he is the first repeat winner of the season. Just a fantastic battle. Gary put on a good little run. Battle for the S2 class. But man, what a race. These drivers side by side at the finish. Gary just pulls ahead of Paul Jackson by just the nose. Wow, what a battle we had here today for the Spec Racer Ford Weekend Warriors Series presented by 42 Stitches. And we're just waiting for all the drivers to finish here. Remember, this is a long track for these cars, 2 minutes and 5 seconds, the average time.
Potentially, a lot of drivers running out of fuel at the end there. I saw a lot of them stranded on the side of the track. Maybe they're just sitting there waiting for the Demolition Derby.
Maybe. That's one thing they have after every race is the Demolition Derby. Which is pretty cool, because sometimes you get frustrated at somebody. You just, after the race, you could just go and juck them a part of the demo derby. And that'll work you out to next week. So a couple of drivers working their way back around. See, Yuri Cox. Unfortunate run for him. Everyone has finished now. Cox is just kind of cruising around. Take a look at your final results for your Spec Racer 4 Weekend Warriors Series presented by 42 Stitches. Rodrigo Duran getting the he went flying, getting the big W. Then his teammate Rafael Berbergal in second, and third position on the podium. Antonio Reyes finishes first in the S2 class and third overall. What a great run. Andreas Bertoni, then Gorka Itoret, who falls down to fifth. David Bohm, Austin Winter, Larry McLeod, Francisco Bernardo, Jim McGill, Ian Haycox, Dominique Barreau, Emil Orza, Philippe, and then Bob Kern. What a good run for Bob Kern, taking second in the S2 class. Then Dan Sadrow, and then rounding out the podium of the S2 classes, Maxine de Thomason. Jason Brown in 18th, going down to 19th. We have Alessandro, then Naselli, who had put on a great effort but falls down to 20th. Ken Bately, Gary Wolbolt, Paul Jackson, Miro, Ian Wilson, Matthew Filipowicz, Samuel Dick, Yo Simpkins, Tim Van, Chris Mercami, Darren Kuhn, Brett Nordstrom, Ed Doherty, Yuri Cox, Brian Short, Jeff Jacobson, Tom Gradwell, Adam Bradshaw, Mitch Weatherly, saw incident earlier. You got Matz, and then Ian Gibson, Jeff Fritcher, Richard Franco, Arthur Grant, Gabriel Messina, Steven Elson, Paolo Breme, Forens Arabian, who is usually a big heavy hitter, falls down to 48th place, and Mark Gehanna down to 49th. What a fantastic race here. We have Antonio Reyes here, your winner of the S2 class, but more importantly, third overall. Antonio, congratulations on a great run. How was that finish?
Hey, good night, guys. Yeah, it was great. It was a nice, clean race. There was nothing special about that, but yeah, I was lucky to get on the top with the top guys and no accidents. So I was just keep going. Yeah, it was cool. It was really cool to get the third place. I'm so happy. Thank you.
We're happy for you. How was the race from start to finish for you?
Oh, I was very worried about this race because this race is all about draft, and so if you have a good draft, you can go in the front. And I just tried to work together with Bertoni and later on with the Volcano guys. So that's it.
Well, congratulations, Antonio, on a stellar performance. Before we let you go, anybody you'd like to thank?
Oh, I want to thank first of all to Steve Ray. He's the father of this series. And of course to you guys. Broadcasting is a nice service, a good service. I like it. And as well to the sponsors for Twitch. I don't know. I'm sorry if I'm saying wrong. The sponsors and for all the races they are being here and the people watching. Yeah, thank you everyone and my family. Yeah.
Yeah, what a fantastic run you had here. But congratulations, Antonio. We'll see you.
Thank you, guys.
We got next round actually coming up. Are you ready for next week?
I don't know which the next track is going
next
to be.
Next week, I had the schedule up, but this series is always just a super competitive series.
I think it's Okayama, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's Okayama, yeah. So yeah, it's a more difficult track. It's more technical, and there are some draft areas, but it's more about keep the car on the track. It's not as drafted as this one, so it's going to be nice. It's always nice. I like to be there, whatever position I finish. I like just race. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, how about the one thing I was going to bring up, and Samuli kind of put it in there, but I mean, how about racing that three-headed monster of the Volcano cars, and you took home third?
Yeah, for some reason, some of them crashed. One of them crashed on the last lap, and I already did races on these official iRacing races, so I know on the last turn, on the last lap, if you stay behind, you have some possibility to get some positions, but that's what I did today. Yeah, just bumping the guy in front of me, so try to get ahead of someone, then I could get ahead of Bertoni at least. Yeah.
Yeah, you put on a stellar effort. It's always fun to watch you, just get better every week, and really showing that you can really run with these top guys.
Yeah, thank you guys. Yeah.
Such an honor to watch you race.
Thank you very much. You're very good, very kind. I appreciate.
But congratulations, Antonio. We'll see you next week.
Okay, see you next week, guys. Take care. Take care, everyone. Good night.
What a super nice guy. Tom, any last thoughts for you on this race?
I'm still recovering from that finish. Unbelievable racing, unbelievable battling. These cars don't seem like they would offer something so exciting, but that's probably one of the best finishes I've seen on iRacing and the Apex Racing TV site in a long time. What an absolute battle. Amazing. Good stuff.
Yeah, what an absolute battle. And Dane, we go to Okayama, where a track that the toe is not as important as we've had the last couple weeks ago. Are you ready for that one?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely ready for Okayama. It's going to be a good one. The final sector is going to be really difficult for a lot of the guys. I think it's definitely one of the more tricky sectors on iRacing, I would say. Especially in this car, it's lots of off-camber corners. The car's going to be a little bit loose through there, and it's going to be pretty interesting. 2 fairly long straights there as well, so trying to stay close to the driver ahead of you through the corners and then trying to overtake them on the straight. We're not going to see bump drafting like we've seen here and at Daytona. I think it's going to be a little bit more like the race that we had at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, where we see drivers trying to make moves wherever possible because there's no guarantee you get another opportunity.
Yeah, that's so true, Dane. From everyone here at Apex Racing TV, with this covering the Spec Racer 4 Weekend Warrior Series presented by 42 Stitches. From our seats with Samuli Kumo running the production, dude does a phenomenal job. And then we have Tom Bingham joining us along with Dane Baird. I'm Avery McDonald. If you like what you saw, we are recruiting. So if you be able to interview some of these Volcano drivers, check it out. What a great race this is. What a great series this is. Come back next week, same place, same time at Okayama. From everyone here at Apex Racing TV. We'll see you next time.